everyone. Welcome to BaeTimeTV TALK.
Where we discuss the deepest topics in your mind. So, guys, this is our first podcast. You guys see us on YouTube as well, but this is our first podcast. This is the podcast with the YouTube video. We're going to do both at the same time. If you guys are new to the YouTube channel, go ahead and give us a subscribe, like, notification bell as well, so that you guys get notified whenever we post these videos. Check out our last content. We just did a reaction to what NBA YoungBoy ran about. Vlogs on the channel as well. Challenges coming to the channel. We got a lot of good stuff coming on the channel, so definitely check that out if you guys are new. And then for the podcast, guys, follow us on the Anchor app. We're on the Anchor app right now. That's how you listen to this podcast right now. Go on the Anchor app, the BaeTimeTV. Give us a follow on the Anchor app so that you guys can always listen to our content. And yeah, guys. So
welcome to our first podcast.
Yeah, welcome to the first podcast, guys. Welcome to the first podcast. This is Alex. I'm Clay. We're here to get on some really good topics, guys.
Let's get deep.
Yeah, we're gonna get deep. We're gonna get deep on this channel. We're gonna get deep. So today's topic is about bullying and the school shooting kind of like mixture, right? We're getting intense. We're going straight into it. We're getting intense.
Sensitive.
Yeah, we're going into it first time, right? So we kind of are here to discuss the relationship between what we believe to be bullying and a lot of these negative things that are going on like in schools and just a lot of like mass shooting kind of, I don't know, it's a lot of like trauma and stuff like that.
It's a snowball. It's definitely a snowball.
Right, so we're here to talk about bullying, right? So just as a start, right, where does bullying occur? Like to you, like where do you feel like bullying occurs?
There is no place it doesn't occur. It's not, what's the word I'm thinking of? Preventable anywhere. So definitely in schools, at work, out in public. I see it definitely everywhere.
Definitely everywhere?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like, I feel like bullying has been taught to us to be this thing that kind of like always occurs in school. Because that's obviously where you see some of these big blow up situations, like what you see on the news and everything like that. We don't need to go into further detail. I'm pretty sure most people know in the United States, know what that looks like. But I really feel like bullying gets looked at as if it's this thing that occurs from like certain age group of your adolescence, and it kind of like stops. Like bullying really, to me, bullying occurs at every level. Like the same way people will sit and say like, hey, all these kids in the school, they're like bullying and that's why they're messing with kids. Like grown ass adults will go do the same thing in a workplace and will bully someone the same way. The same way. And it's like you get these big, sometimes you do get these big blow ups in the workplace too, but I just think like it needs some clarity on where it occurs, because it's like taught to us that like bullying is like this thing that I said just occurs in school, but your grown ass adults and parents, they bully the same way. They bully in the workplace, they bully in school, they bully on the sports teams, they bully in the cheerleading locker. Like bullying occurs everywhere, if you ask me.
No place is immune to it.
Yeah, no, I feel like anywhere where you have people that kind of are outcast or different or whatever like that, like bullying is always going to occur. You gotta, So yeah, it's pretty interesting. Comment below what you guys what you guys feel on that. But I truly believe that bullying like really does occur at all levels, at all ages, and it's just kind of like same shit, different toilet tissue kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So, with that said, why do you feel like people have the need to bully? Like what do you think it does for them?
Where it stems from?
Yeah, like when you see like an act of bullying, right? Like what do you think for like the bully, right? What do you think it does for them? And all this stuff, guys, comment down below. I know we're on the podcast as well, but it's just to my YouTuber people. Comment down below what you guys think of all of this kind of stuff. Comment down below what you feel on each topic. What your take is on things. But
because I feel like everyone can definitely relate to this somehow, one form or another.
Right. No, I completely agree. I agree. But why do you think the people themselves bully? Like what do you think it does for them? What do you think if you're out here bullying someone? Like what does it do for you?
Psychology is definitely one of the subjects I love studying in college, and what it stems from, something inside that they feel isolated, so they want to feel that connection to people, and they're not kind of sure of how to go about it. I would feel like somewhat that's a little bit of it. Or we are animals, we are mammals where we look at behavior and then we copy that behavior. So definitely they've seen it somewhere, and then they're just going to be a repeat of it, or it has happened to them, and then they kind of backlash and, you know, kind of get back in a way of
Right.
to their own bully person.
So okay, so I won't cut you off, but like let's kind of go back a little bit. There's a little bit of stuff to like unpack on that. What do you feel like? So when you say it's like kind of they see it like as a pattern, like it's like a kind of like herd mentality kind of thing that you kind of touch on, but you say like animals, right? Do you? So you pretty much think it's a thing where people see it as a kind of like a norm, like in school. So you got a kid that like let's take it for example, right? Let's take a kid that's like never bullied before, like he's never felt the need to kind of like put anyone else down or anything like that. You're saying so basically what you're saying is like that kid is if he's in an environment where he feels like that's the norm in his environment, he's going to like conform to that, right? Because that's like the herd mentality. Like if you know all the cows are going down this pasture, that's kind of like damn, I'm the only one out here. Let me just hop in. I think it may not feel right to me inside, but socially I feel like that's acceptable to do. That's kind of, is that kind of what you mean when you say that?
Yeah, in a way. And what internally what they're feeling, they're already having ego. Being a child, they're not. They have so much thrown at them, especially like middle school, high school. You know how hard it is when you're like been out there. They have so much thrown at them that there is all ego. So they're not really having those deep feelings of how does this make me feel? How does this make the other person feel?
Ego. That's interesting. I feel like, from my perspective, I feel like when I say in terms of like why they feel the need to, I think like this is, and I can only speak on my experiences and what I feel from my experiences, because like I've kind of observed this. I feel like everyone who's been in high school, maybe you're still currently in high school, but everyone has their brush with it. Maybe even before high school. It definitely occurs before high school, after high school. But I just know high school is like the big breeding ground for a lot of this kind of shit. But I really feel like it makes people feel secure to a certain way. Like when people have insecurities, like I feel like if you're not good at basketball and you get cut from the high school basketball team, right? Like you put a lot of effort into playing ball, you've been doing the training, and you're working out all summer, you come to the tryout, you don't make it.
Yeah.
You get some type of like ridicule for not making a basketball team.
Yeah.
It might not be everyday bullying kind of thing, but now because of some type of like trauma, let's put that in the category of like trauma, right?
Yeah.
Like you really put your emotional and blood, sweat, and tears into making the basketball team, and you got cut. People make you feel kind of like, they make you feel like you're not worthy to be on the team kind of thing. Now like you have this type of trauma, and now you want to bully everyone else who like, so now you want to, in a sense, bully people who want to be like a part of like sports teams or want to put themselves out there because of this, or like they want to join this team and you want to like put them down. I'm not saying this is the main example. This might be a shitty example, but this is my example kind of to get my point down. You know what I'm saying? Get my point down.
Yeah.
But I feel like that person would take that trauma that they had and that insecurity of not being good enough for a basketball team, and now they want to like reciprocate that back on other people, right? So if I can't cook, right, I go in here to make dinner and I burn that shit. When you come in here now,
it's me.
No, I'm dead serious. Like then when you go in there to go cook after me, I'm going to sit there and talk shit the whole time to you and make you feel like, oh, you about to fuck up too.
Yeah.
Cause deep down I'm mad that I fucked up the dish at dinner.
Yeah, so they're putting those feelings out there,
right?
So it happens again to someone else, so they can feel that connection.
Right. No, that's what I said. They want to feel that connection of like, oh, I'm not alone kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's like they need to. And I don't know why humans think this way. Do you
think it was taught? Do you think they're taught that? And like by who? Are they taught by like their parents?
We're gonna get to that next. That's coming up next. But to go back to it real quick, I think that's very interesting. Like, what is it about human beings? And comment this down below, y'all. And I'm asking you too. Yeah. What is it about human beings that you feel like want something else to be felt? Like, you ever like have some disappointing stuff? Like, and I'm like, we're capable. Like, we're guilty of this. So this is why I say it. Like, and I said, comment also, guys. Have you ever been in a situation where you feel like something happens to you, right? And you feel like, damn, somebody else need to experience this shit because I hate the way this shit feel. You feel like alone. Like you get like you might get rejected, right? Like you might want to go out with a girl or a guy or whatever, and like they turn you down kind of thing. But then you want to go identify with your friends that got turned down too, and it's like a community almost thing. And it's like, damn, I'm not alone. I'm not the only one getting turned down. I would just want to be in this group with these people that talk about heartbreak kind of thing. Yeah. Right?
And that's how gossip starts, actually. With the gossip, like they'll do one connection and another, and then they'll just all gossip about that negative thing. And then that leads to more bullying because like, oh, what if, that same topic that they have and then someone else is out there, they can, kind of target them in a group. So that's definitely group bullying, which...
Yeah, for sure, bro. And you see it with the like trauma kind of thing. Like a lot of people who like the bullies are like, it's trauma. It's like they want to, a lot of them have like abusive households or like violent past or whatever it is with their parents or, sexual abuse, whatever it is. And like they feel like they feel like to them the best release for them is to reciprocate that back on someone else.
Yeah.
Is to like reenact that kind of thing, even though it's not the healthy way to go about it. But that's what it feels like it is, because that's kind of what we're taught, is that when something happens to us, like, and we need to get it out, it has to be, I don't know, we don't have healthy ways of dealing with stuff, if that makes sense. Like, not really taught to like meditate and like sit and kind of just, I don't know, look inwardly. It's just, everything is just, oh, I gotta go back out on here. I'm driving on the road, this person cut me off, I'm about to cut them back off. I'm about to speed up, it cuts me out, I'm about to cut them back out. It's like always a reaction kind of thing. We need to like spit it back. We can never just internalize something and deal with it healthy. I don't know.
Yeah. What type of ways, for anyone that's watching, would you want to kind of help out in ways to release that healthy? Like you said, meditation was one of them. What are some other ways you would try to think of to help either both the person bullying and the bullier?
Yeah, I mean, therapy should both probably be therapy, honestly. Like, no, we know now about therapy and stuff like that. Yeah, I just think that's interesting to always think about is just whenever human beings feel something that's not like good, we don't feel good about it. Like, what is it about us that wants to identify with another person in that pain? Like, we either want to share in that pain with somebody else, or we just want to completely like inflict the pain on someone else.
Yeah,
like we can never deal with it on our own in a healthy way.
Yeah.
Or healthily communicated with somebody. It's always like I'm either have to be miserable and find someone else that's miserable so we can be miserable together, so I'm not alone, or just like fuck it, I'm gonna make someone else miserable, because that's what's going on with me. If I can't be happy, nobody can be happy. Yeah. So I think that's just something very, very interesting. I think it kind of goes along with what you was talking about with the herd mentality, that kind of thing. Is weird. It's very weird, but it happens though. Like everyone's guilty of it. Like everyone's guilty of it. It's no matter what it is. Like you fail a test and it's like, damn, you feel shitty because you failed a test. Damn, who else failed the test? Like you hear the teacher reading out all the grades, you just like, okay, I want to identify with the people with with the bad test scores. So it's kind of interesting. Now, kind of what you were getting into, the next topic is bullying taught? If so, from who?
Definitely their environment. Their main environment is their family home. Like you were saying before, unfortunately, if they're coming from that abuse, if they're coming from that broken home of no love, like no pure love, no real connection, no communication from that parent and that child. Even if it's obviously a child, they still need to talk to them with respect and have that communication. If they're not building on all of that and they're watching their parents and whoever, their brother, sister, be in a toxic environment, then they're just going to catch on. They're just going to get those bad thoughts, those bad negative thoughts, those bad habits, and probably they're being hurt already inside. So like you said, with that connection, it's going all the way around again. They're trying to find someone else to connect with, so they're gonna act out and push it out into the world in a negative way, unfortunately.
Yeah. No, I kind of agree with that. I would, to piggyback on that, I really think it's I think it's the environment that people are just growing up, but I really think specifically, we talk about the environment, I specifically think it's parents. I mean, I specifically think, like, while there might be other factors that are outside of the parents, like, kind of, I guess, control when you're outside of the household, like, you might have, teachers and friends and peers. I think if it was a percentage of it, I'd say parents are like 85%, maybe 90%.
Second part, I would definitely say social media and like on the news, like everything that just magazines.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. I definitely think media definitely is so big now to the point where that might be a rising influence for sure.
Oh yeah.
But I really think the root of that shit comes from your parents. I really feel like it does. Like I really feel like if you had the type of parents that are like in cliques or like they gossip, because like let's be real, right? Like we talk about gossip and stuff like that with like friends and girls and this and that, but like our families gossip more than anyone else. Like, let's be real, like how many
Hispanic families?
Like Hispanic, black, white,
telephone,
green,
like 2
purple.
seconds.
it don't matter. Yeah, it's going down. Like your parents, like they just do like I don't know. Well, let's just talk about the gossip part, right? Like gossiping itself is like a thing where you getting clicks, and like even though you may not be to this person's face saying certain things, in a sense you're already like putting yourself in like a group thing where you're like going against one person.
Yep.
Like that's what I feel like. Like it may not be bullying in the sense that the person can't really hear it, and you're not in their face to physically put them down or do this and that, but you're already like putting yourself in the mode of being in a group under like a group mentality against a person or individual who can't really defend themselves against that group.
Yeah.
Right?
Somehow groups think they have like that protective shield, because one person sometimes might not feel strong enough, but with those groups they have that somehow invisible protective shield, which is not the best. Because
yeah, it could be a bunch of wrongs, you know, but it feels right because you feel like it's the norm of what's going on. But I really said to relate it to the parent part though, because I really feel like, because we touched on adults bullying like in the workplace. Let's be real. Let's keep it 100 on that, guys. How many people who have jobs and worked in the work field, the job field, you know damn well that you've seen bullying go on in the workplace. You've seen it. Whether it's like the coworker that no one likes, whether it's the coworker, there was the, excuse me, goddamn, pancakes. Maybe it's I don't know, the boss that no one likes, but there's someone in the workplace that gets bullied.
yeah,
It's like, to me, it seems like any organization where you got a certain amount of people, there's going to be an outcast. There's going to be someone who's not like the group.
which I always root for the outcast, because that's me. I'm a little different.
Yeah, I'll be different. It's good. There's nothing wrong with being different. But I feel like whenever you have a group of people, or you can take 5 people, put them in a house, and like say like y'all all living together now. There's going to be 1 or 2 individuals that do not fit the other 4 or 3.
Criteria.
No, for real. And they're going to be at like the 3 are going to dominate that household. Like they're gonna like put their power over these individuals. Like even if the difference in these 1 or 2 people is not even significant enough to get bullied, it's gonna happen because that's just what happens, I guess, when you have a herd mentality. It's just our power is over you. Like
The alpha.
right, like if we vote for something, it's like, oh, more of these people voted, this viewpoint is shitty. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's kind of it's very alpha. It's very different. But I feel like parents bring that home teaching to their kids. I really do. I can't necessarily. Now, do they know they're doing it? No, I really don't. I feel like parents are just like, I feel like parents are the product of the parents before them, and so forth, and they're kind of just like, you know, teaching that thing. But I really believe that it is the parents. I feel like parents teach kids to be like, oh, this person's different, so don't go out there with this person, don't do this with that. Like, they're taught the same thing. What do you feel about that?
So different cultures have different traumatic generation experiences. So they all have different mindsets. Same thing with different time areas. 1950s, 1960s, 1970s, 1980s. They all have those different connotation about, certain types of people, certain types of groups, people that do this, that don't do this. So with it, it has been passed down. And they are blind to it because they're already used to it from the past.
Right.
And they kind of just put it onto their future, their kids, without even knowing.
Yeah, like you might have a set of parents that like let their daughter date or whatever, and something like that, and they bring home a dude that's like not a bad guy, but he might just be weird or some shit. And they're talking about like don't bring him home or like don't entertain him because of some stupid reason that has nothing to do with the person being a good guy, like respectful, like none of that.
Yeah.
But you're already taught to be like, ooh, these qualities are like what we see as like the good person, or I don't know, not the good person, but this is the criteria of what we see as normal.
Yeah.
In America, right? Like, because I can't speak on what gets bullied in Europe because it goes on everywhere, but I can only speak on the norms in America.
If anyone's watching international, you should definitely write in on about that.
Yeah, for sure. Like, tell us.
I want to learn.
Yeah, like the differences in other countries and kind of how that goes. Clearly, ain't many shootings and all that stuff in other countries, but that's a whole different conversation. But yeah, but just as far as like we have this notion of like, hey, this person hits boom and boom, 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 he's good. But like if anyone goes outside of that framework, it's viewed as like, but you're already teaching this person to be like, hey, everyone that looks like da 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 da, A-okay. If it's outside of that, and they're weird.
Yeah.
And they're different. Like, you know what I mean? And we're not taught to associate different with like good, which is a whole nother debate to go on forever about.
And that goes back from who taught it, because that kid that's bullying has a closed mindset because their parents have a closed mindset.
Right.
So just being passed down with that closed mindset, and they're not going to be open to different things in school, different things, you know, when they start working, and you know, on sports teams.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very interesting, man. I really think it's parents, man. Comment below if you guys think that. I really do think it's parents. All right, guys, so we're back on the podcast. We're here to talk about our final topic in this discussion about bullying. The final question is, why is it often the least talked about in terms of school shootings? Like, why is it that bullying, like, while it is briefly mentioned sometimes when you mention these people, why is it not talked about as much as like gun control, destruction of schools, drills, Trump, white supremacy, like all these different things? Like, why is bullying the least talked about?
Easy answer. No one wants to admit it. No one wants to admit that they do bully, that, you know, they see it. Because if you are seeing it, you're a part of it. In the workplace, at school, on the sports teams, everywhere out there. Like, no one wants to admit it, because if you're admitting it, that means you have something bad about yourself that you don't want to reveal when it comes down to the parents. It comes down to the grandparents. That's all of us, brothers, sisters. No one wants to actually just admit it. So with it, they're not going to put it together with the school shootings. It's easier to blame, gun control. It's easier to blame just like the easy things out there that's targeted, but social media, look at all these video games that they're playing.
Yeah, another one, the video game. I think I'm really along the lines with that, because I really feel like so when you take bullying, right? And we mentioned how everyone who hasn't lived underneath a rock or something like that, you've seen bullying in some form, whether it's in school, workplace, sport. Like, you've seen it somewhere. You've seen it. You was either a part of it or you observed it. It's that simple. Like, there's no like, I was just like over here. If you've noticed it, like, you were either a part of it or you saw it, right? And I'm not here to like point blame or like, you should stop it, or this or that, or like X, Y, and Z, or why didn't you do this or that. I'm not here to speak on that. I'm just talking about whether you saw it or not. And I feel like when you kind of address it from that point of view, it makes everyone feel somewhat socially responsible for it. And we don't really want to be responsible for it. We want to just be like, they need to make the schools safer, and they need to do all of their jobs. Like, forget if like my son was like bullying the kid, or like he saw something, he shouldn't have shot up at school. Like, it's amazing, right? It's amazing how we want to detach yourself from that part. It's crazy, because at some point everyone has seen it, or you've been a part of it. You either saw it or you were a part of it. There's no in between, like I said. So when you kind of address it from that standpoint, we've all in some way, shape, or form may have contributed to a school shooting by either not saying something and seeing, because I've seen it. Like, I know specifically a kid I went to high school with. I've seen it. Like, I don't want to say it like this guy. I hate to say it, because like there's no type, but if you're talking about in terms of like what you be saying on the news and everything like that, it was like he was like the prototypical like school shooter kind of person, like bully, like kind of bigger kid, kind of did stuff that was like weird, was very into like military stuff, video games, gun. It was like boom, 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 boom. It was like everything. It was just like, like this might really be a thing. But I just noticed how it was just like those kids are like, there's 1 or 2, 3 of those in every school, and then sometimes you just rolling the dice.
But who's putting that criteria out there? Like, this is the description of them. This is like the most common. They look like this. They act like this. Who's putting that out there for it to be in that terms?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree with that. I do think there's some commonalities. There's a couple commonalities that we are seeing. I'm not saying it's the end all be all to like what is a school shooter, but there's starting nowadays to be some very similar like traits. Let's put it like that. There's some similar traits. That's why I say like he kind of like just fits some of those very like similar traits. But I feel like if God forbid he was to ever shoot up the school one day, let's say one day it was like enough, and he came in like to do what he wanted to do, right? I feel like the people who actively bullied them, and I kind of know who these people are. Not all of them, but you kind of got just who I've seen. But I feel like those people would never admit that they contributed to it. I don't think they will. I feel like because we're not really taught that. We're not taught to like look at ourselves and be like, damn, like how did I F that up?
Yeah.
It's just always blamed on like a higher institution or structure or the system or like the teacher, or, like the school did, like the white supremacy. It's always some type of like. It's never really about damn like how did I contribute to that?
Yeah.
He's a human being, right? He's in this school just like I am. I sit in this row. He sits right here over here. I have some type of influence on this motherfucker and what he does in the school. So like, why is it that we don't look at it like that?
Yeah.
You know?
Reminds me of exactly what you're just describing. 13 Reasons Why. You guys remember?
I never
those?
watched that show.
It was very
never watched
good. I'm gonna go make him watch it tonight. We're gonna go binge it. But that's exactly it. It's everyone in that school, in that environment, that teacher, that counselor that wasn't listening or didn't believe them, that one friend, that enemy. Like they were all a part of it all together, but no one wanted to take blame. They wanted to blame it on the other. Like it was that one, it was this one. But really, deep down, they all kind of know that they were all a part of it.
Yeah, that's
like a piece,
a
piece in a puzzle.
That shit is deep, bro. That shit is like really. It's so deep. Like I even I forget which one was it. I don't want to get it wrong. I just know it was one of the. I don't know if it was the Parkland school shooting or one of the ones in that time frame. It'd be so many now. It's kind of crazy, y'all. I hate to say that shit, but they said in one of them though that one of the kids that reported on the news, like they were doing like the interviews after like the school shootings, like basically seeing like from the kids, like what did you see, what was he wearing, like how was the day going, like how did it, that kind of thing. Any information on the kid himself, what was he into, what may have led to the school shooting. And one of them said that the kid, when they had gym class, like he kind of like smelled, like he was like kind of like a smelly kid. I don't know whatever the situation was at home, but he kind of like stunk a little bit, right? They said that like the gym teacher like bullied him. Wow. Like the gym teacher pretty much like made him feel like really bad about like how he smelled, and because maybe it was like a situation where he was in the gym class and he probably had a strong body odor or whatever it is, and like the gym teacher probably like was kind of telling him to do it, but he probably started making like a joke about it. But like when you're a kid and there's girls in the class and this and that, and somebody telling you that you stink, can kind of come off as like bullying. Oh yeah. Right? Like especially if you know the kid's situation or whatever it is at home, and it starts to become like a joke. There's nothing funny about it. Like you can have an honest conversation with the dude, but to be a grown ass adult and as a kid or as a teacher, that's supposed to be like fostering learning and like a healthy environment, and it's like you bullying dude because he smells like, but he's in your gym class, dude. It's like that's some shit that you pull someone to the side and like talk to about and see what's up going on at home. Yeah. So because he's coming into school smelling, but like you rather make a joke about it because like you in this herd mentality. And like you want to approve other students, like you want to get the approval of other students and shit like that. Yeah. Because it's like that's what they all saying. It's like, oh, you want to be a part of like the running joke, but it's like, bro, you're a gym teacher. Like you need to be having a healthy environment for this dude to succeed. But it's like you playing around here, like you know what I mean? Yeah. It's a kid, like
you're taking part of what you should take.
Right, like you're supposed to be like building his youth and his growth as his development as a kid, but like you like act like one of these kids. You know what I mean? And that shit kind of like really struck on my head because they said that, but it was really like I've seen a couple people talk about it in comments or whatever on YouTube, but no one really like on the news made it like a big deal. And it's just like, why the hell would you not make that why the hell am I sitting here talking about? Do I think it was a gun? Do I think it was like white supremacy? Like why am I sitting here talking about that? And like you just told me that there's a teacher bullying a kid. Like I don't want to talk about nothing else right now.
Right there, in our hands, like right there. Like in front of our eyes.
Right. I think it's obviously he lose his job. Like if they want to take it to that extent, but I just feel like it's easier to talk about so many other things because that's the agenda that's pushed. I'm not saying that those things aren't legit. I'm not saying that at all. Like gun control is definitely a legit conversation. White supremacy is definitely a legit conversation. Trump is a legit conversation. Yeah. But bullying is like, it seems like it's the one thing we're so uncomfortable to talk about. So uncomfortable to talk about.
That's why we kind of like chose this as our first topic. It was pretty sensitive but pretty deep, and we just want to get that dialogue out there because the more you communicate, the more healthy outcomes we will have.
So that's it, guys. That's the video. That is the podcast as well. So this is BaeTimeTV TALK, where we discuss the deepest topics in your mind. If you're new on the podcast, once again, guys, follow us on the podcast. It's on Anchor. It's on the Anchor app. So we'll drop that in the description of this video. If you're on Anchor app and you're listening right now, definitely give us a follow. We'll be posting new podcasts every week. And this is the video as well, guys. Check it out. If you're new to the YouTube channel, like we said before, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, that ding button. Thumbs up if you like this topic. Thumbs up if you have any comments. Spam the comments, guys. Get a conversation going in the comments for sure.
Yeah.
But that's it, guys. We'll see you guys in a week. Let us know if you guys like this topic. Let us know what topics you guys want to hear about, and we'll come back on it with the podcast. It's BaeTimeTV Talk. Alrighty.